hard work pays off. That was a quote that really stuck to me in high school. And I remember I wrote it in my headgear. Nobody can ever take away that hard work that you put in.
I got that dog in me, yeah. Turn me up. Big energy, got the crowd going.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Wrestle podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Brenton, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Miss Emma Douglass. So how are we doing today, Emma?
Great. How are you doing?
Doing so good. Glad to have you on with me. Finally, we were able to get together.
Yeah, finally.
I know it took a minute. So why don't you just start off by telling the listeners just a little bit about yourself?
So my name's Emma Douglass now. It used to be Emma Karhu. I don't know. I love wrestling. I love sports. I love my family. I'm in nursing school at UW. I love the outdoors. I love hunting. I love everything. I don't know.
Nice. So we'll just get started off with your wrestling background. So what got you started in wrestling?
So I lived in Basin, and we had a little USA club called Grable Basin Wrestling Club. And my siblings, my older sister Ellie and my older brother Brody, they both wrestled. And they just didn't have enough partners for the smaller, like 35-pound under kids. And I was 3 at the time, and they were like, "Hey, if you want to wrestle with these, just drill with these little kids like you can." So they just let me start wrestling at like 3, and then when I turned 4, I just started actually wrestling in the club when you can. And I just loved it. I just remember, and it was just kind of, my siblings did it, so I did it. But once I started, I just didn't want to stop. And I just had so much fun doing it,
Yeah.
And honestly, like when you're little, I feel like I didn't really understand how everything went. Like I
Right.
just remember, when you're on bottom, you're like, crap, I'm on bottom. Little kids start crying. I'm sure I did that. I know I did that when I was little. But yeah, I loved it ever since. My sister quit wrestling when she was like in 5th grade. She just kind of got to that point where she's like, I'm growing up. I don't like it anymore. The boys are strong. And I just never felt that way. And me and my brother kept wrestling. We didn't travel a ton. When we were in USA, I don't know. I definitely had the opportunity, like if my parents would have taken me, but I just didn't really know it was out there, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, through USA, always went to state, and usually would double bracket in girls and boys.
Right.
Usually win the girls for sure. There was only like 1 or 2 other girls.
Yeah. That was gonna be my next question. Yeah, that was going to be my next
yeah.
question about boys. Like, so you wrestled mainly boys your entire life growing up?
Yeah, it was, I remember in USA there was like 1 other girl, but, they didn't wrestle past like 5 years old kind of thing.
Right.
And it was just all I knew, wrestling boys, and I just never thought anything of it. It was just, that's who was there to wrestle,
Yeah, exactly. Did anybody ever have a problem with you wrestling?
Yeah, definitely. Especially like in USA, it was crazy. Like little boys would and their parents would have issues with them wrestling a girl and be like I remember we had this at state. This dad and his boy actually got disqualified because someone overheard them saying he's patting him on the back, giving him a high five for hurting me, and he threw me, and it was an illegal throw, so he actually got disqualified, and I hurt my head. I ended up getting like a concussion or something, but they actually threw those people out of the tournament. So,
oh man,
but it was just way less accepted than it is now.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. So you were pretty accomplished though with your wrestling career. Why don't you tell the listeners how you did in high school?
Yeah, so starting high school, I was coming off a high in middle school. You go undefeated in middle school and boys, and then you're coming on. It's just a whole new world in high school. And I remember just feeling like I had to be tough in high school, coming in. I just not necessarily have to prove myself, but I just felt like I had to show Coach Urbach and Fulton that I deserved to be there.
Right.
I wasn't just doing it to show like, oh, I can do this. I'm a girl, but I can do this. It was more just, I deserve to be here. I'm tough enough to be here. So my freshman year, pretty successful. I wrestled 106. I ended up getting fifth at state in boys. Was the
First girl
first girl in
ever.
3A. Yeah,
Yeah.
ever in 3A to place, and the highest placing girl ever in Wyoming. My junior year, or sophomore and junior year, I wrestled 113 and then 120, and it was a tough year. I did really well both years and competed well. I got fourth at regionals all freshman, sophomore, junior year. And then I was one round out of placing at state my sophomore and junior year, which it was tough because both of those times I lost two guys that I had beat all year. So it was just like, gosh. But my senior year, I wrestled 126, and I ended up getting fifth at state also. And it was a great feeling to finally place again, because it was a hard mental game to be like, gosh, I placed my freshman year and I haven't placed for 2 years in a row. So I really wanted it that year. And I just remember it was kind of tough in the consolation rounds, getting into third and fourth or fifth and sixth. I wrestled this Star Valley kid, and I remember I've never been so frustrated in a match, because he just grabbed my wrist the whole time and stalled, and I was like, gosh, I was so close to even placing higher, but I was so proud of myself anyways.
Yeah, no, that's a huge accomplishment. I mean,
Yeah.
the first and only girl in the boys division to place that high, so
Yeah.
that's pretty big of an accomplishment, and, you should be proud of yourself. And, it's definitely hard wrestling with boys. So, it was not sanctioned with you, right?
Nope. It didn't get sanctioned until a year or two after I graduated, which it's kind of tough to know that. Like, I could have won girls and, done, if it was a thing, been a 4-time in girls. But I'm really happy that I was able to do what I did in boys, because no one can take that away from me.
Yeah.
No one can ever place twice in boys ever again,
Yeah.
So it was just a different animal. In high school, like, people definitely accepted it more. Like, I feel like, I mean, there was the people that had their reservations about, me being a high schooler wrestling boys. They're like, isn't that weird? And I just never thought of it in that sense. And it was just a sport. It was just fun,
Right. Yeah. And your competitor's your competitor, and you're there to wrestle and nothing else. So, like, don't make it weird,
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. Like, that's awesome that you were able to be, a pioneer and pave the way for these girls. And, now that it's sanctioned, when you heard that it got sanctioned, how did you feel about that?
I was just so excited for the girls coming up, especially the girls who, there was a few other girls I remember, like Maggie and Bryn, that, they would wrestle in boys some, and I just remember talking to them. They're like, they really, really drove for girls to be sanctioned too. And I'm just so happy for them and Tila and them being able to wrestle and make their mark in girls their senior years. And I don't know, it was just really cool to see that. I was happy.
Yeah, no, you definitely were, one of the first girls, to do this for, Wyoming, definitely making history for us. And you did a lot for sure. And I know that there was a lot of little eyes looking at you. So I'm sure there's a lot more girls on the mat now because they watched you wrestle. So that's cool. Yeah. So after high school, or after your seasons in high school, did you go to nationals?
After, I didn't actually end up going to nationals my senior year, which I don't even know why. I was kind of just like, I don't know why I didn't. But in high school, I went to nationals my junior year. I ended up getting third at the folk style nationals, the Marine Corps folk style nationals
In Fargo?
against girls.
Yeah.
And that was really fun. Just totally different wrestling girls, because even up to then, when it was bigger, I just still didn't travel because I was a 3-sport athlete. I did diving and track, and like, looking back, I wish I would have made a little more of wrestling. Like, that's probably my biggest regret, is not wrestling in college, because even though there was less opportunity, I still had plenty of opportunity.
Right.
My sophomore year, I tore my meniscus, and my ACL was like partially torn, but they were like, it's not serious enough where you need to fix it right this instant. So I did sports all through my senior year with it, and I finally got it fixed when I graduated, like And I just kind of thought like, geez, this would suck to keep going, but I really wish I did.
Right.
But
Yeah. I understand that. But you did good. Third was pretty awesome for a Wyoming girl going to Fargo. Also, that's a pretty hard thing to do at Fargo. So I'm glad you at least got to experience and go do that and be
yeah,
in a girl environment and see what that was like.
yeah.
Do you have any future plans to join any sports, or do you do a club, or do you do any sports currently?
So currently, I've just been kind of helping out different teams coaching. Like this season, I just went over to Green River because I'm living in Rock Springs right now, doing my nursing capstone through UW. And so me and Sefton are just living in Rock Springs, and there's a girl named Lily Harris. She Coach Hodges was just like, hey, I've got this girl in Green River. She's tough. She just needs a practice partner that's going to challenge her. So went over to Green River a couple times a week to help coach her and show her some things that worked for me and just give her a tough practice partner. And that was really fun for me to get back into it and know I still got it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
so right now we're practicing with her to help her get ready for Fargo and Virginia Beach coming up. So.
okay. Love that.
Yeah, in the future, Sefton and I would like to be, like either girls coaches together, or he coaches the boys, I coach the girls, whether it's middle school or high school. But we've always talked about opening up our own little club wherever we end up, and just be a resource for the little kids. So I
Love
think that would be
that.
fun.
Yeah, I love that you want to give back and that you've been working with Lily. Obviously, it paid off because she won state. So I'm
Yeah, no,
excited.
she's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what she can do. And I mean, heck, if that's a great practice partner for her. uh,
Yeah, perfect. We're the same size.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's exciting to hear. I'm glad that you still want to be involved and, give back after your, college is done and you get your degree and end up where you're ending up.
Yeah.
So you ended up marrying Sefton Douglass, who
Yeah.
is wrestling in Rock Springs, right?
Yep, he's wrestling at Western Wyoming. He actually just finished his season.
Okay.
But he's from Lyman originally. He was a 4-time state champ in Wyoming, so
Okay.
pretty cool.
Is this his first year or second year?
So it's his third year.
Third year.
He redshirted his freshman year, so he's a redshirt sophomore.
Okay. How did
So
he
it
do
was his
last year?
Last year, it was kind of tough. Him and one of his teammates were kind of battling for the 125 spot, and they were pretty back and forth, but he would often beat this kid, and his coach ended up taking that kid to nationals last year and over Sefton, just due to seniority reasons, and that was tough for Sefton to, swallow that because he knew he could have competed well last year also. So he just competed this year is all.
Okay. So how did he do? How was the season?
Yeah, he did so amazing. It was just so fun watching him. Really makes me miss wrestling, that's for sure. But it's just he's so dang good. It's so fun watching. He went undefeated in JUCO all year. He had a couple losses at opens, not to junior college kids. So he was undefeated in JUCO. He was ranked number 1 after national duels in Oklahoma. He beat the number 1 seed from Clackamas. So I don't know. It was just I was so confident in him all year. Just, we basically just were planning on him succeeding that season, at nationals.
Yeah.
He was working really hard. He puts in so much time and effort in the sport, and he just has fun doing it. It's really admirable.
Yeah. So he just went to nationals.
Yeah.
How did he end up doing?
He ended up getting second. He had a really great tournament. He pretty much pinned his way through the front of the bracket, and he had the number 1 seed going in, and he did really well. He controlled all of his matches. There was never a time where I was like, oh gosh, like, is he gonna win? Like, he pretty much dominated that tournament. It was really cool to see. I would never even get that nervous for my matches. watching him, I was like
Yeah, right.
shaking just because I was so excited and I knew he was going to do well, but I was like, oh my gosh, like
Yeah, no, I hear you. He looked really good. So, yeah, I,
yeah.
I ended up going to that same tournament. My little brother was wrestling, and we texted each other, and I was like, "Where are you?" Like, and I'm in red, and we
Yeah.
were like right across from each other. And so that was kind of cool, like seeing a bunch of people from Wyoming. I had some girls wrestling from Iowa that were there wrestling, Peyton Covelo and Jada Boehm.
Mhm.
So it was cool to see like the girls in that room too, because
Yeah,
they just became that sport too. So I loved
right.
seeing the girls there and the boys there, and a bunch of Wyoming people that I was a part of their journey in some sort of way. So I just loved like being
Mhm.
in that environment, and some great wrestling was going on. So
Yeah.
it was super fun. So congratulations to Sefton. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. First time going to nationals, and he takes second. Like that's pretty big,
Yeah.
huge accomplishment, and Wyoming's super proud of him. So I know that he had a lot of people cheering. How did their
Yeah.
team end up? What did they take second?
They ended up getting third.
Third.
It was pretty close race throughout the whole tournament. Once we got to the finals, semifinals round and finals, they Indian Hills ended up pulling ahead quite a bit, and
Mm-hmm.
then we were just close with Clackamas. So going into finals, it was like either third or second, and Clackamas ended up pulling ahead, but not by much. So I know that was tough for the team and for Art because they have been working so hard all season. But that's how wrestling goes. Sometimes it's not the way you plan, and that's all right. And we had Demar. He won nationals, and it was awesome. And we had Tommy, Dimitri, Sefton, and Demar in the finals, and they all got ended up getting second except for Demar. And it was just really awesome seeing all of them because just all their hard work paying off, and just seeing Tommy and Sefton, their lifelong buddies, being in the finals together. It was really awesome.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
great. And yeah, I loved seeing, like I said, all the Wyoming boys there. Whether they were from, my little brother's team or not, like everybody,
Yeah.
like I was like, yeah, let's go, like cheering for everybody. So it was definitely cool to see that. And I'm glad that, Wyoming represented and did very well at that tournament. So
Yeah, they
happy to
did.
see that always. So moving forward, how many years does Sefton have left too?
So yeah, he can two or three, depending on if he takes a red shirt or medical red shirt his first year of college. So it still has to be determined, I guess.
Okay.
So his freshman year, he actually broke his hand in practice, and so he wants to use that as a medical red shirt probably, and then he'll have another red shirt at another school. So, but definitely 2 years in another school.
Where does he want to go?
He went on a visit to Arizona State last week, and it went really well for him. So that's on the table. He's visiting Michigan State in April, and then he's just kind of talking to just different schools here and there. But those are probably his top two right now. But
Okay.
it's all up in the air right
Yeah.
now, which is kind of like nerve wracking, but
Yeah.
really exciting. Um, I um, I'm just about to graduate with my bachelor's in nursing from the University of Wyoming. And so I'm just finishing up. I'll be done in May. And so I'm kind of at that point in my life where I'm ready to go with them wherever. So like
Yeah.
I can get a job in nursing wherever. So it's really exciting that it's working out that way for both of us. So
Yeah, that's an exciting future you guys have. I'm
yeah.
sure there's a lot of people interested to hear where he decides to go. I'm sure you are
Yeah.
very interested also to hear where he wants to go.
I'm like,
So if you guys end up doing that, do you plan on coming back to Wyoming at any point, or do you know any of that yet?
yeah, definitely. So we'll probably live wherever we end up for probably 3 years, just working and doing school. Then when he graduates, he wants to get his master's in education. He just wants to be like a PE teacher in elementary or middle school
Yeah.
and be a wrestling coach. So
Love it.
yeah, I know. So when he graduates, we're planning on moving back to probably Powell or Cody or possibly the Valley where he's from. But we definitely want to end up in Wyoming long term. We like it a lot, and plus we want to be close to family. So
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, that's awesome to hear. I'm excited for you guys' future. I'm definitely looking forward to hearing where you guys end up going and be cheering for you guys when I see you guys on the mat. So turning the dial a little bit, going from wrestling yourself and then having a significant other wrestling and you being on the sidelines, how are the nerves? How different are the nerves?
Definitely different. I would say the only time I ever really got nervous watching people was watching my brother, but it was just a different type of nervous. Because no matter how confident you are in them and you know what they're capable of, anything can happen.
Right.
They can, they could get caught or they could get injured. And so that's always, on the table. But it's just such a weird feeling. I just get like jittery and mostly because I'm excited.
Right.
But I only watched Sefton lose like twice this year and all the rest were wins. So I was, very confident in his ability, but there's still always that like, ooh,
right.
Just butterflies in your stomach.
Right.
But just completely different than competing. Like Sefton and I were just talking the other day, it's good to have a little nerves when you're wrestling,
right.
before you're ready. And I never had that much nerves competing myself.
Yeah.
Than I do just watching. So it's definitely a different beast.
Yes, I definitely agree. I mean, mine's a little different, like coaching wise. So when I would wrestle, like, yes, I have a little bit of nerves, but like as soon as I stepped in that circle, they were gone. And I could just do my thing, Coaching.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Coaching though, I'm a nervous wreck the entire day. Like it doesn't go away. I'm just like freaking out. So, I probably have really high blood pressure from coaching, but it's fine. Moving forward, do you think you guys will have kids in the future?
Yeah, we, right now Sefton wants a couple more kids than I want, but we'll probably wait till he graduates. But we definitely want kids, and we hope they want to wrestle, but if they don't, then
I want to fill a lineup.
Yeah. I love it. That'll definitely be a different type of nerves than watching him wrestle, having you wrestle. I'm sure like watching your kids wrestle is going to be a whole different beast of nerves. So I'm sure you're going to go through all the emotions and all the things with that. But I'm excited to see your lineup in the future.
I know. Me too.
So is there anybody on here before we get off that you would like to give a shout out to or thank?
I would definitely give a shout out to my high school coach, Nick Fulton. He just was, he's a really great guy. We're still in contact, and just the way he coached me personally, we're really close, and he's going to be a lifelong friend of mine. I'd also like to give a shout out to my husband, Sefton. He's just an awesome guy, and he's really paved the way for just wrestling in general, and he supports women's wrestling, and he's just a big supporter of mine. So
love that. So you have a closing quote for us. Would you like to go ahead and say that for me, please?
My quote would be hard work pays off. That was a quote that really stuck to me in high school, and I remember I wrote it in my headgear. Nobody can ever take away that hard work that you put in outside of just scheduled practice time. So
yes, I love that. That's a great quote.
Important.
Great quote. Great thing to leave us on. So Emma, thank you so much for joining me and telling us your story and all about your life and all about you and Sefton. And we're just excited to hear what the next step is for you guys.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And thank you guys so much for joining me, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Accept the loss, I'm hard-headed. There's a little bit of madness to my method. Many falling off that fine line that I'm treading. I risk anything to be great, and I'm not letting nobody rob me of my victory. Number one, that's what I'm meant to be. When by any means, only thing that makes sense to me, I can make nice or make history.